All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your holiday planning without overwhelm workshop. I really enjoy hosting this workshop and making sure that this holiday season you can avoid as much crazy as possible because it gets crazy. Even when you don't have kids, right? So much extra stuff from our side that we're going to talk about that and how to deal with that today. So if you have any questions, um, put them in the chat so I'll be able to answer those. So this workshop is so important because I just hate seeing so many people struggle during the holidays. Like it's high stress. You're wrapping up your business. Um, just the pressure from family. It's just so many emotional and mental things all at once. And I just want to help you out this year. I just don't want to see you struggle. I don't want you to be so stressed out and overwhelmed. And I want you to actually enjoy some quality family time if you like them, um, or friends, whoever you prefer to get together with, or if it's just you and your partner, or you and your pet. Whatever your holiday looks like to you, it should be enjoyable and it shouldn't have to be stressful or feeling guilty about how you want to spend it or anything like that. Something I found challenging was yeah, just the stress of family members just pressuring and asking when we were having kids and things like that, the usual bingos. And I finally just fed up with it. I had to flat out tell her, these two in particular, that, I'd rather have an abortion than have a child. And they haven't bothered me since. So I really hate that just a simple no is not enough. And I didn't feel like explaining myself. So I just went with that and it kind of worked. So let me know if you've had any challenging holiday experiences below. Avoid a lot more of this toxicity if possible. So today I want to just teach you a few tips to, of course, prevent the overwhelm, reduce the stress, and like increase the fun and merry. Like what happened to the merry and bright part for the holiday season? I'm not religious, so I see the holidays differently. I just enjoy them as an excuse to be around the family members I do enjoy, as an extra excuse to take time off. As an entrepreneur, you can have your schedule however the hell you want. So you can work through the holidays if you like. That's the best part about, owning your own business. Create what you want to do. Okay, so some of the common challenges that we tend to deal with is, the typical. It's like it is crazy busy when people are out shopping. Like, I don't know what it is about the holiday season, but people get extra rude and extra aggressive. The stress just gets to everybody, and they're just so rude and pushy. I'm gonna have some tips for how to avoid a lot of that. Oh, it just makes me cringe thinking about it. You want to start with having a vision of what you want your version of your holiday season to look like. That way it can kind of set the tone for a way more enjoyable experience during the holidays. And you gotta know what you want, what you're willing to put up with, what you're not willing to put up with, and just not letting guilt get to you or letting the pressure of family members get to you and just removing yourself from that situation as needed. Okay, so instead of a typical holiday where you're getting bingoed at your or by your family members, or you're running around trying to host, like having to deal with everything, expected to buy all the presents, like just all the added stress. Just because you don't have kids, they expect more from you for whatever reason. Because supposedly we've got more money, and maybe you do, which is awesome, but that doesn't mean your family members are entitled to any of it for any reason. So we want to go from that to being able to have boundaries in place. You want to be able to step away from a situation as needed and just reduce that guilt from not showing up at all if that's what it takes. Because there is no point in forcing yourself to be in a situation when you don't have to be just because it's the holidays. All right. So first, let's let's simplify the shopping, okay? Okay, first of all, if you're like me and gifts are your love language, this can be a little bit harder. If you do love shopping, if you do enjoy buying gifts for everybody, which is great, it doesn't matter if you do or not. I prefer to give each instead of a whole bunch of presents to each person. I just do one particularly special gift, like I know they'll like, and leave it at that. Just one gift, and it doesn't have to be expensive. The price tag does not determine how much you love someone, okay? It's more about your thoughtfulness that goes into the gift because you know they're going to love it. Less gifts or none at all. Or a newer family tradition for us has been like the adults will go in together and donate to a local charity. All the kids and cousins and everybody will draw names to get one present for each other. So those are some other ideas. If you have any special family gift buying traditions, let us know down below. And then, of course, you can always shop more online. I know some things are just better to see in person, but maybe go into the store, look at it, and then, like, okay, I can tell the size better. I can touch it and see what it's supposed to look like. I'll do the actual shopping online. And also buying online, not just Amazon, just in general, but there is this extension you can add to your browser. It's called Honey, if you hadn't heard of it before. But basically, it pulls like the prices of your of that item or whatever's in your cart from across the internet and finds the best prices. And it'll find coupons and all sorts of good stuff. So that'll help you save as well. So just because you can spend a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean you have to unless you absolutely want to. And then to save time, not having to wrap all those gifts or whatever, get someone at the mall to do it for you or just pay someone else like a few dollars or like 20 bucks for an hour to wrap all your gifts so you don't have to, that kind of thing. Because it's all about delegating this season. Okay, the delegate is going to be our keyword for this season. All right. And part of delegating is delegating meals. Oh my gosh. I've never understood why one person feels the need to have to cook everything. Maybe they're the best cook, which I can understand. But even so, they shouldn't have to feel like they have that burden of doing all the cooking. Cooking, especially around the holidays, for me is more about like spending time together, bonding, talking. So if one person is not expected, but agreed upon among everybody, don't expect that person to do all of it themselves. Like, go visit, help cook. I mean, we start like 2 or 3 days ahead, so there's plenty to do. And they shouldn't have to do it by themselves. You shouldn't have to do it by yourself. So either have friends and family help you do the cooking, like at your house, or just flat out organize a potluck dinner and just coordinate different dishes, like coordinate whatever each person is best at, like their signature dish or whatever that is. And even get the kids involved. I mean, they're there, they might as well do their job, right? Let them sit at the table, let them, I don't know about pouring drinks, depending on how old they are. Put ice in the cups, let them help decorate, like just let them help cook, like put them to work. I mean, they're there. It's a bonding experience, so you might as well have those extra set of hands. And again, the whole point is to delegate all these holiday tasks like the cooking, the shopping, all of that. That way you have a lot less stress off of you. You don't have to worry about being the sole responsible one of doing the thing. Get some feedback on planning for the holiday itself. You shouldn't have, unless you really want to, you shouldn't have to feel like you have to plan the whole thing either. So as far as planning these different parties and things, if you do also happen to have a job, I don't know, the whole point is schedule a time for your holiday parties. For people who actually show up, tell them the correct time because they'll actually like show up on time and or show up a little early. But if you have family members who are just late to everything, that can be super stressful and obnoxious. Here's my tip for that. Two tips actually. One, if they tend to be like 30 minutes to an hour late, you say, hey, we're going to eat at this time, tell them an hour earlier than what you're planning on actually eating. That way they might actually show up on time. If they just absolutely do not show up on time, do not wait for them. Okay. I like, we're hungry at this point. You're hungry at this point. You've done all this cooking, you're smelling the food. Pretty much everyone's there already, except this one person. Why should everybody have to wait on them? Y'all are just encouraging them to show up late all the time because they're like, they'll feel entitled, like, oh, they're going to wait on me because I show up late. They won't start without me. So they get this entitlement. And we want to avoid that. Also, be sure to plan out your outfits in advance. I just usually pick an outfit the night before. I don't really have any big planning to do as far as dressing up kind of thing. So with one family, we'll like do a big breakfast. So everyone just shows up in their pajamas, their holiday pajamas, and that's kind of fun. But if you do like lunch or dinner, you might be more likely to like dress up somehow, wear a crazy sweater or but don't feel like you have to like dress super fancy. And plan your outfits based on the events you're going to attend. Like, is it going to be breakfast versus dinner, or is it like a cocktail kind of party? Is it a work party? Is it a business party? Plan your outfit depending on the setting that you're going to be in. So, talk about work-life balance, work-life harmony throughout the entire year, but especially during the holidays. Especially, we've got to have this work-life balance because you will just get caught up in everything and you'll forget about yourself as we just automatically get into this. Oh, 'tis the season, and we put everybody else first on an even higher level than the rest of the year. You also need to like manage your business hours. So maybe you have reduced hours if you still want to work, or maybe you just prefer working through the holidays, and that's perfectly okay too. Or maybe you just want to take extra time off. You got to know how you want to spend your holiday season too. How much do you want to work, or how much do you want to take off? So be sure to schedule that off as well. And when you figure out how much time you want to spend working, then be sure to put those boundaries in place as soon as possible. Like put it in your email signature saying, or send emails out to your client, say, hey, we're going to be taking off this time to this time, so I won't be available. If you need anything, get it to me by this point, or you're not going to hear from me until then. So do this for all your clients, colleagues, team members, hell, even with your family and friends, because just because you're taking time off doesn't mean that that time is for anybody else except you, and that's okay. This kind of leads into the self-care, right? Tend to push ourselves even more during the holidays because you feel like you have to do all these things by yourself. You have to do all of this, and you don't. You really don't. The whole point of the holidays is to enjoy it without the overwhelm. Put some extra routines in place if you have to. Make sure you schedule time to rest more. Maybe schedule some extra therapy sessions if you do therapy, like extra meditation, however, whatever you like to do for self-care. Make sure you get extra sleep because it is like it's just so busy and people are not patient. And unfortunately, you're going to have to be the patient one when you're standing in lines or dealing with customer service or dealing with rude people. Unfortunately, you're going to have to be the bigger person and be the patient one. Let me know what kind of self-care things you like to do. Instead of a big family thing, maybe it's just you and your partner and your pet. That's perfectly okay too. I've done that some years, and that's been really nice, not having to worry about anything. This is where the not feeling guilty kind of comes into. It's like, especially if your family's really toxic. I am so lucky that my family is not, but I know a lot of friends who are child free and business friends who have very toxic family. Just because they're blood doesn't mean you have to spend time with them. As tough as that may be to hear, don't need to be around that. It's it's for your own mental health. It's for your own safety. Ultimately, you don't have to put up with that shit. Please don't feel guilty if it's just you, just your partner, you and your pet, whatever that may be, or you and a couple of friends. Like, it doesn't have to be some big thing. It's just about spending time together, creating a holiday that you enjoy. If you are at a family gathering and people are starting to get extra nosy, they're starting to bingo you and asking you all these questions, trying to push you to have kids and everything. If they just won't take no for an answer, either let them know, like, look, this is not a topic I'm willing to discuss. If you can't accept my decision, that's it. That's all there is. You're not getting the satisfaction of arguing with me. I don't have the energy for that. That I don't need to explain myself. And then you remove yourself from that situation, whether it's just not dealing with that person anymore, or you just have to leave early. Maybe you also need to leave early if you're like me and you've got autoimmune or some other health things going on. Like, it's very emotionally and physically exhausting helping with all the cooking. And luckily, I usually just pull up a chair and I can help do some simpler things. If it's just too much for you, maybe you just need to go to the other room and lay down for a little bit. Even if it's not a health thing, maybe you just are overwhelmed and an introvert, or your anxiety is just really bad and you just need to go to a different room just to decompress for a little bit. And then maybe you're able to go back and be around everybody. Maybe you need to leave, and that's okay. Whether it doesn't matter if they understand or not. If you have had your limit, hell, make up an excuse if you want to, just to be able to leave. You shouldn't have to make an excuse, which is ridiculous. Just say, okay, we got to go to this next, or I got to go feed the pets now, or whatever it needs to be. Like, or let them know when you first get there. It's like, hey, I can only stay for this long. That way they at least have a heads up of when you're leaving. But the whole point of this is delegate, delegate, delegate. Take care of your mental health, all the self-care, get extra sleep. Just simplify all the tasks of the shopping, the cooking, parties, getting dressed up, whatever that may be. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll answer those as well. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope this was helpful. I'm always wanting to improve this kind of workshop. So if there's anything in particular you would have loved for me to cover, let me know and I'll answer it for you in the comments. But I want to make sure I add it next year. So if you have any questions, just let me know.